Hello, Bashar.
And a you good day.
So, yesterday, after I bought the ticket to get here, I had this realization about positive and negativity,
Yes.
how it really relates to wave interference,
Yes.
how what's called constructive wave interference.
And destructive. Yes.
Yes, how constructive wave interference, that's more positive. That's the positivity.
In a sense, it can be looked at that way. However, you do understand that empirically, that which is reinforced can be positive or negative. So I understand that you can use it as an analogy in the way you're using it. If you wish to, that's fine. But understand that fundamentally, basically, anything that is reinforced can be either. You can have a reinforced wave that is negative as well as positive. Does that make sense to you?
Not exactly.
All right. The idea of the waves are neutral when it comes to the idea of what is reinforced. Just because a wave is reinforced doesn't mean it's automatically positive. It can be negatively reinforced.
Okay, yeah,
Does that make sense?
that makes sense.
But you can use the analogy that you have brought up as a representation symbolically of positive and negative if that works for you as a definition, which is fine. As long as you understand that that is not an absolute. It's just what you're deciding works for you. Yes?
Okay.
All right. And so?
What I thought about that is that we have our own vibration,
Yes.
and then each person or circumstance has its own vibration, and then
Yes.
we match basically, and that's our experience.
Or you don't. Yes.
Yeah.
And in that context, then your analogy will work. Because there can be canceling vibrations that allow you to know that you are vibrationally incompatible with something, or reinforcing vibrations that allow you to know you are compatible with something. But again, what reason are you compatible with each other for is another issue altogether. So there are many layers to this idea of destructive interference, constructive reinforcement. You can use it in a variety of ways, but there are many levels to it.
Okay. Another concept was I heard a physicist explain that the positive and negative poles of a magnet, they're really just arbitrary distinctions.
Yes.
That if,
In that context, yes.
but is that when you're referring to positive and negative, how does that relate to that?
Different mechanical idea. Positive in our context is that which reinforces, which expands, which connects, which integrates. Negative is that which separates, segregates, diminishes. We're
Okay.
using it as a mechanical description of what the energy does, in a way similar to the analogy that you initially used.
Okay. So wanting to understand more about the concept of nothingness
Nothingness.
and somethingness.
Well, even nothing is something, because you can't actually imagine non-existence. That's not possible, because non-existence doesn't exist, so there's nothing to imagine.
Well, I think what I imagine with nothingness is simply complete stillness, and there's no you don't sense anything. You're just completely.
Yes, but not sensing anything is still a type of sensation. You are still having an experience. You're just having an experience of nothing.
Okay.
It's still an experience. That's a big difference from the idea of not having any experience at all. Because you are cognizant. When you talk about the idea of saying, well, I'm experiencing stillness and emptiness or nothingness, you're still talking about having an experience. You're still cognizant that you are having some kind of an experience that you can talk about. You just did it. I'm experiencing stillness. Okay, you're experiencing stillness. But that's not non-existence. It's still something within existence, because you can't imagine non-existence because it doesn't exist.
Okay. That
You understand the difference?
Yeah, that makes sense.
All right. So nothingness is simply the absolute neutral state of existence. That's what you're experiencing, a completely neutral state of existence. But it's not really nothing in the sense that it's non-existent.
Okay, that makes sense to me.
All right.
Also, I was wondering how you perceive the difference between a collective mind and a hive mind. The way that I come to understand is that we all have our own, like, a collective is realization that we have like a core template,
Yes.
and then we all of our experiences kind of, they're in a sense like our clothes, and that we're expressing something outwardly, and then as a collective we just understands that we're all at the core the same. While
You can look at it that way. There are many analogies you can use. Sometimes we have used the analogy on your planet of a chess game. You can say that the collective is an agreement that you have made to abide by the rules of playing chess. That's the game you're playing. You agree that those are the rules. So you will play by those rules. But how you play by those rules can be up to your individual preferences. So you can play with different kinds of pieces made out of different kinds of things, different materials. You can have your own strategy for how to play by the rules, but it can be a very different strategy than someone else who is still playing by the rules of the collective, saying that, yes, we agree we're playing chess, but I'm playing my way with my kind of pieces, and you're playing your way with your kind of pieces. So it goes from the collective to the individual within that game. And that's an analogy for how you are experiencing your physical reality. There are certain things you've agreed to abide by in the consensus collective reality that are the so-called conditions of the game you're playing, and you won't go outside of those in general. But there's a lot of flexibility in how you play the game. What kind of pieces you use, what kind of strategy you use, so on and so forth. That comes down to the individual choices and preferences. Yes?
um yes, that does make sense to me.
All right.
And I think with that analogy, the idea of a hive mind would be more like all the pieces, they're all the same.
It can be that way, yes. In terms of what you're calling a hive mind, it can be that way. There would be no real different strategy. There would be no real difference in the pieces.
Okay.
Does that help?
Yes, it helps me.
All
Thank
right.
you. Um, so I was wondering about feeling others' energies or emotions.
Well, again, you're matching a frequency so that you can create that sensation out of your own energy. You're not really feeling them directly, but you're identifying and empathizing in a way that you can recreate the vibration out of your own energy so that you can have some common sense of their experience.
Yeah, that's I've been feeling that sort of sensations recently. If I like meet a person,
Yes?
or even if I see like something on like a television, I
Yes.
can pick up, like, my body changes,
All right.
and like I feel like I'm picking up on that energy.
Well, you may be, and then you're also deciding to match it, which is why you can actually feel it. Otherwise, if you didn't match it, you wouldn't feel it.
And to go further, if I change my own feelings,
Yes?
would like would that person, or at least the experience I have with that person, change?
Not necessarily, because again, what did I just tell you? You have to agree to match the frequency to feel anything from someone else. So they would have to do the same for you, the same with you. You can put out a vibration that gives them an option, gives them a choice to match a frequency that you're giving off, but they don't have to match it, do they?
Yes.
Yes, that's correct, or yes, they do.
Oh, yes, that's correct.
Thank you.
And would it be, though, that you would, if you have some other circumstance, would it come to you that matches it? Like a different person may show up, or if you leave that an environment that you don't like, or I don't like, but I want to change it.
Yes.
And if I go somewhere else, I'll find some place that does match that.
Probably. Because the idea is that there are places that have certain vibrations that might be more compatible with you. You will attract yourself to them. You'll gravitate to them. Yes?
Yeah.
Well, then, the
That
reason
seems
you gravitate to it is because the vibration does match, at least more closely than the vibration you were in before.
okay.
Yes?
My last question is, I've had this idea throughout my life that I was an alien that was
Well, you're not, but you're connected.
connected.
Yes, remember, everything exists all at once. You are clearly a human born on Earth, but you are making connections to other simultaneously existing beings in alien civilizations for your own purposes, to download information, to download experience from them that aids and assists you in exploring this life, just as they may be doing by connecting to you to download information that may assist them in some way, shape, or form. Everything exists all at once. Now, from a higher level, let's say the oversoul level, if you want to say that you are now looking from the oversoul perspective, then yes, you can say, I, as the oversoul, have simultaneously existing incarnational extensions as a human, as this alien, as that alien, and that alien, and that alien, all at once. So yes, I am them, they are me. But from this level, the individual level, you are not an alien because you were born on Earth.
Okay.
But you are becoming more aware of the connections you may have to extraterrestrial sources, which may make you feel a little more alien, because you're discovering and integrating more of your being, which for most of you contains connections to extraterrestrial sources. Yes?
That makes sense.
I know, that's why I said it.
Well, I had a dream
Yes?
where that, it's sort of like I'm our Earth as a human, but then I had realization that, oh, I'm an alien, and then my whole
But
body.
remember that the dream reality is a different reality. And you may actually, not you, but the you were being may actually be an alien in that reality. And you're just saying it's you because that's what you remember, because it's your dream.
Okay.
That's your interpretation of being able to shift in such a way that another you is having a different experience of being someone from another planet, and you are able to identify with that or find some way to make sense out of that when you wake up as this person that you are on Earth. So you're making an identificational vibration, an empathetic connection to that. And that's why it feels like it happened to you.
Well, I think it feels like it happens to me because, probably because I'm not so much identified with my personality here.
Yes, I understand.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. It's easy for you to identify with those other things because the personality structure here is relatively loosely connected to the physical reality of Earth. And that's why you can expand in this way and have experiences that allow you to feel that you are those aliens more easily. Because you can come from a higher level where the greater you does contain those alien experiences.
Okay.
Yes? And you're bringing that experience down to Earth to help you. Yes?
That makes sense. Yes.
Yes. Well, I am glad that I can continue to do so. Does this help you then?
It does help me.
Thank you.
Thank you.